Hello everyone, welcome to Malware Analysis course. Today I'm going to explain to you how to make basic static analysis but in theoretical way. So what's going on in course, I'm just explaining to you some theoretical, and in the next video will be practical on this theoretical. I don't need you to go in practical only or even theoretical only. So I'm just making concatenation between them. So let's start. Okay, what is a basic static analysis? Basic static analysis, as we discussed in previous session, just like process of examining a file without viewing the actual code or behavior of it, just to get basic information of the file. For example, I just give you this file and told you, hey, don't run this file, just give me some information which is clear information. So from this clear information, you can guess this file may be like a backdoor, maybe like ransomware, maybe you can find malicious domain from the basic information. Usually, we use basic static analysis at the first stage of malware. If the file from the first stage will be usually document or PDF, whatever. So you will see mostly the malicious code, which is for second stage payload. You will see this code will be mostly will be clear for you, right? So at this point, we do basic static analysis. We use basic static analysis when we try to make when we try to get the strings of malware in a clear way, right? If the string is clear, okay, so mostly you will get second stage payload. Mostly you will figure out some important string of the malware, so you can figure out what's going on in this malware. So that's a full basic static analysis. So what about purpose of basic static analysis? Just like, hey, once I did basic static analysis, I'm able to get quick overview of file. Yeah, I just figure out most of clear string of file, or even maybe something else, but I'm explaining to you, but not now. So you just get overview of file, and once you get overview of file, maybe you can confirm that, hey, this file will be malicious, maybe it's not malicious, right? So at this point, it's useful for us to make a basic static analysis at the beginning. It's like quick way to figure out what's going on in this file before go in deep on it, because once you make basic static analysis, just to consume your time, right? So if you try to analyze more and more, I mean, if you try to go in depth on file, you will consume time more than basic static analysis. So that's the purpose of the basic static analysis. So there is some tool we use them for making basic static analysis, right? Some tool will be useful for you or maybe give you useful result, other tool will not. So it depends on file itself, or even as I told you, it depends on malware itself. Some malware is complex, other malware is not a complex. So for some tools that we're gonna do it is that we use it, for example, we use strings or even system internal tool. The purpose of this tool is just like list strings of malware, and from these strings maybe you can get for example, you can get second stage payload, or maybe you can get any useful APIs from malware, or any useful function of malware. For example, maybe the strings or maybe the malware which used only to maybe get screenshot of your computer, right? So mostly we'll see if the API is clear, or even if the string related to API, or even the function related to API is clear for you. So mostly we will see this in the string. So that's why we need to do basic static analysis using strings tool. So just like list all string for detect it easy, and also there is BeView, BID, resource hacker, and storage. All of this tool is useful for you, and we're gonna in depth on it just like in theoretical way, and the next video will be practical on them. So let's start. For system internal tools, as I told you, just like list all strings of malware. So once you list this all strings of malware, you will able to figure out what's going on in this file. If the malware is not complete, if it's simple for analysis, the basic stuff analysis will be successful at the end, at the beginning. So it's okay, it's useful for you to list the strings of malware, and once you see these strings, you will able to figure out what's going on in the malware, right? So for system internal tool, even strings, just like a program file, or you can able to use it in CMD, and just list all strings. You just determine the length of strings that you need to get it. So it's okay, I'm gonna show you that in the next lab. So let's go to detect it easy. The purpose of detect it easy, just like detect the type of file. For example, some author of malware will prefer to make his first stage of payload is a document which is Excel file, right? Maybe just like Word file. Other will prefer, hey, no, it's just exe file. Maybe you will .NET file. So I just need you to know that once you figure out the type of file, so analysis will be different, or even tool will be different. For example, if you figure out the type of file is exe or even DLL, so you will use some tool related to this file. For example, you will use tool like IDA. So just like get the code of exe or DLL. But maybe if the type is .NET, if you try to use IDA Pro, so even IDA, so it will not successfully because it will not choose the actual code, right? So once you figure out the type of file, you will go to the mechanism suitable for this type. You just like only step for more analysis, like, hey, I just take this type of file, maybe just like zip file, maybe just like exe file, maybe just like dll .NET PDF. Each file will be, I mean, the mechanism will be similar, but tool will be different a little, right? Right, it's okay. So this is for detect it easy. So the application for detect it easy is just like that. So okay, once you load the file on it, it will show you that, hey, this type of file is .NET, this type of file is zip, this type of file is exe, DLL, and so on. So that's for detect it easy. For BeView, just like okay, suppose that like you have a file, and this file or even the malware, this malware will drop another file will use to get information about maybe Chrome or even any saved information. Maybe it just like steal some information from you. But the malware, if malware try to do things like that, it will use something called APIs. APIs is just like some built-in function in machine. So if you use it, you will able to get information from this machine, right? So if I wanna get the screenshot of machine, I will use API related to screenshot. It's like in function, so it's okay. For BeView, it just like give you all strings, even from zero length to any maximum length, and it give you it get import and export table. So to figure out what's going on in this file before run it, before go anything, it just like list something, and but it organized things. So once you get it, you if you, once you read it, you will able to figure out what's going on. But just for you, if the malware is easy to analysis, so BeView will be suitable for you, because it will list you something which will be organized. So this is for BeView. It's just like organize the strings of malware, or organize the export or import table. So once you read it, you will figure out what's going on. And this is application of BeView. Again, you just like in a file, you just like load the file on it, and it will organize it in some way. So I'm gonna show you that in the next lab. So be ready for PID. Okay, let me tell you something. If you are the malware, if you are the attacker, okay, and you created your own malware, do you think you will make it easy? Okay, if I made the malware easy, so the person who is good at in a malware analysis, or even he bad in a malware analysis, maybe he can able, or mostly he will able to figure out your malware from easiest way. So the answer is not. I need to make it complex a little. I need to hide something, even in the most important thing for me is like domain of attacker, or even domain of me. Okay, so that's why they present something like packing. Okay, so what's the packing? Packing is just like compress file. If you have a file and make it rar file, so once you make it rar file, so the comp is it just like compress this file. So if you compress this file well, so if you try to list anything of it, it will not give you any result, right? So we just like compress it with a way, and once you can decompress it, you can able to see what's going on. If you have an zip file, and this zip file is something like let me clarify something. It's just like something for it's just like important thing. So just like compress it. So compress it. Once you compress it, it will not easy for you to figure out the content of it. It's just like an maybe encryption, compress, something like that. So that's why you need to know predict the type of backing. Some backing is easy to analyze, for example, UPX. Other will be hard for you to figure out what's going on. Maybe like media or any commercial backing like that. So this is the application of BID, and once you load the malware in it, so it will give you type of backing, and once you get a type of backing, you will able to know, hey, this malware may be simple for analysis, hey, this malware will not be simple for analysis. It depends on a type of backing. Type of backing just like mechanism to hide the malware or even to hide the malicious code of malware. So maybe this hide is easy for you to get it, other time it will not easy. Okay, so for resource hacker, it's just like used for getting resources from file. What's a resource? Okay, I'm gonna tell you or even explain to you with the simplest way. If you have a file, so maybe there is a helpful file for this file, right? So I have my own malware, which is the file. So maybe I can use another file which help me to perform another functionality of this malware, right? So at this point, it included in the resource, right? If you are a developer, you will know that what I'm trying to say you to tell you. So just like helping file, we can assume that even resources is just like helping the file, so which help you to perform another functionality of malware, right? Or maybe the full code of malware will be in resource. It depends on attacker itself, or it depends on the malware itself, but I need you to know that the resource file is important. Mostly attacker will mostly just resource file will be important for you. Maybe it just like hides a whole malicious code, or maybe part of it, maybe just hide some functionality of it. Okay, I'm gonna show you in next video. So this is application of resource hacker. So once you load the malware on it, you will figure out all resources that this file contain. Hey, we don't need run a malware. Just load the malware in resource and figure out each resource of it. So once you figure out each resource, we can able to tell you, hey, this malware will contain these resources. Okay, so you can able to extract these resources and maybe can able to do basic static analysis on this resource to figure out what's going on in these resources before run a malware. So it's okay. For PE Studio, it's just like me. PE Studio is similar to BeView, but it's something like new version of it, or maybe similar to it. So it's just used to get a string of file. It can get export and import. It just can able to gather information of file. So once you gather this information, you can able to figure out what's going on in this malware. So this is a application of PE Studio. You just run a malware or even drag and drop file. So it represents the information in a basic static way. So we can able to figure out what's going on from the beginning. So let me ask question. Why are we doing basic static analysis? So the purpose of basic static analysis is gathering basic information of file. If the malware is simple, so mostly you will get second stage payload. If the malware just document or even PDF, maybe mostly you can able to get the malware from, you can able to get the malicious code from first from doing basic static analysis. But sometimes you cannot. I mean, not in all cases you will succeed, because as I told you, it depends on the malware itself. Sometimes you cannot able to do basic analysis, or even basic static analysis will not give you anything or even any result. So as I told you, it depends on malware, but if the malware is simple, you can able to get useful information. Mostly if the malware is document, you can able to get useful information of that. So it depends on malware. So a static analysis is enough. I told you it depends on malware, so mostly we're not enough at the beginning, but I mean, you cannot figure out what's going on for final payload or even for final malware. If you are at the beginning, it mostly will be useful for you, but if you are at the end of analysis, it's not useful for you. You just need to go and date with me. So the answer for surely will be no. For practical lab I'm gonna explain to you this tool. I'm gonna give you practical example on this tool, so you can master this tool and can get useful information from this tool. And we will get the second stage reload of malware. So prepare yourself. Please don't forget to install your operating system. I mean, you should have your virtual machine or even VMware and install to it any operating system in it, because you will run a malware. So suppose that you run the malware in your original machine, you'll get infected with this malware. Maybe if it's ransomware, it will be hard to remove, or even all your file will be encrypted. So be careful that you should have your own VM, and you should have your own operating system installed in this VM. So now you are safe. Please do not run malware in your original machine. So be careful of that. So see you in this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.